In this video, I'm reviewing a really cheap very cheap drill press from Amazon. Thanks for clicking play and welcome to my bomb shelter basement workshop where I don't normally do reviews. But when I first started doing woodwork videos in 2022, the aim was actually to make some money. And even though I've really enjoyed it over the past few years, I've not really made that much. So sticking a few review videos in now and then will help take the pressure off when I'm working on bigger projects because I'll be able to keep the content consistent. Got that out. Hopefully it'll get me a few more views so I'll get closer to being monetized so I can earn a few more pennies that way. And I can also test out affiliate links and see if that brings any cash in. But more than that, I do get questions from you guys in the comments about the tools I'm using, and hopefully I can give a more interesting or a different viewpoint from a woodworker that doesn't really know what he's doing and doesn't really look after his tools that well. So today I'm going to be reviewing this universal drill press. Now these are on Amazon for about £15 and I've had this particular one for 2.5 years. So is it any good? No, it's not. But should you buy one? Maybe. And that's what we're here to talk about. Now when it turns up, it does arrive in pieces. Obviously the base is not attached. I don't think the handle was attached, so you do have to assemble it yourself. Once it's all together, the base is pretty solid, the drill holder's pretty solid, the handle flops around a bit, but you know, maybe I could fix that with a spacer. I'm gonna try fix that with a spacer. Even with a few spaces it doesn't work because the gap is around this big thing here. Okay, so yeah, the hand is wobbly, you can't do anything about that. It does come with an Allen key which has a little thing that you can store the Allen key in, you clip it into there, stay still. Normally falls out when you drill in though. To adjust the height, you use the Allen key that is on the handle, which is this thing here. And you can do that to set the height. You can also set how far down it goes with this thing here, which again is on an Allen key. So far, it's pretty universal in the way that you adjust it, which is quite nice. So let's move that up there. And if you watch, it only goes down that far. This little thing at the top shows you how far down it can go, so don't know how long that is, I'll measure it in a second and put it on the screen, but if you watch me pull the handle, you'll see it disappears. And at the end, obviously it's got a stopper to stop it going any further. When you are pulling it down, this little thing here, I believe is a guide that just keeps it straight. There we go, all the way down, and then it's gonna slide back up, but it doesn't keep it completely straight. One really important thing I forgot to mention is if you're looking at buying one of these drills don't work. The only drills that do are the ones that have handles that you can remove, because that space there is where the drill press goes. Simple. And now putting a drill in, which I've got the super cheap Titan from Screwfix. I've already taken the handle off. You need to do that before it drops in. And if we put it in there, it's already getting stuck. I'm not sure if all versions do this or it's just mine, but it has done it from day one, and here's where you need to be careful, because I originally tried to force my drill in, and because it's so tight, it grabbed hold of the chuck on my drill and it pushed it up to the casing and nearly broke my drill. And if that's happened to you, just get a really thin flat blade screwdriver and just work it all the way around and push it back down again. Now, before you ask, is it that it's too tight? I don't even have the bolt in yet. It's actually completely empty if you look through there. So here's what I do when I'm putting my drill in or out of the drill press. First of all, loosen off this bolt as much as possible. In this case, I've actually fully removed it. Then grab yourself either a screwdriver or something that's a flat piece of metal. I've got this spanner here. And what you want to do is stick it in the front there and just put a little bit of pressure to separate the metal. And then the drill oh, I've got it stuck on the handle. Drop in nicely, like that. Oh, it's not all the way in. There we go, now it's all the way in. Then obviously fit the bolt back in, tighten it up, and you're ready to go. And of course, when you're removing the drill, just repeat this process in reverse. So, a little bit of tension on it, and you can just kind of very carefully wiggle the drill out again. Now when it's brand new, it does actually move up and down quite easily, but after a couple of months of getting sawdust on it, and in my case, tiny bit of rust, because my basement's damp, it does start to stick a bit. So every now and then just put some WD-40 on it. Whee! Nice and smooth again. When you are using it to drill, I would recommend putting a big chunky piece of wood over the plate at the bottom. Because if you're using a drill bit any bigger than this hole, it's gonna hit the metal. And the other issue is when you're adjusting the height of your drill, it doesn't always stay dead center. Because once you undo this to change the height, the whole thing can shift left or right. So if you forget to realign where it is, like I did, you're gonna end up with a hole like this. Now, if you are putting a chunky piece of wood over the base to protect the metal and protect your drill bits, I try to screw it through these two holes here to either a piece of wood underneath or a workbench. I think I've covered pretty much everything there, but how well does it actually drill? I'm currently working on some floating wine stands, which is the perfect opportunity to test it and show you. Now, I'm not sure if you saw that on the camera. I will try to replicate it if I can, but the actual drill press thing wiggles forwards and backwards ever so slightly. And because of that, it's actually put a slight notch around that side there as it's gone into the wood. Let's do another one. Again, it had a tiny bit of wiggle on entry, which means the circle is a tiny bit rough near the edge. So it's not amazing with hole saws, but I'm going to come up with some other tests to test it out with. I was doing a few more of these holy bits and something just didn't look quite right, and that's because the distance on this side here is different to the distance on this side here, which means it's drilling at a slant. Now, it's only a couple of millimeters out, but that's not great, is it? It's supposed to go down perfectly straight. Actually, that's a good point. That's actually a really interesting point because it's quite tricky getting drill bits in and out of this because I'm using a drill that has one of the quick release chucks. On a normal drill press, or the ones I've used, they've actually got the chuck key. That means you're tightening the drill with one hand so you can hold the drill bit with the other. On this thing, you've got to tighten it with both hands. So who's going to hold the drill bit? Basically, I tighten it as much as I can, like that's pretty stiff, and then I'll hold it in my little finger and just work that around until it holds onto it, and we're done. Now, obviously, I could take the drill out, put it in, that would make it easier, but as I showed you earlier, it's a pain in the arse taking the drill in and out of this thing, so there you go, another point. Now, the reason I was changing the drill bit is I'm going to drill into a piece of aluminium to see how well it does. Right, first I'm going to tap the drill bit into it, and I just want to make a tiny little notch. All right, I'm going to put a cross over that notch to show you where it's supposed to go in. There we go. The hole actually took a bit of the pencil, so we can see that's exactly where it's supposed to drill. Now, let's give it a spin, see what happens. Not even gone all the way through and it's already gone massively off center, which is so crazy because I didn't draw that centerpiece on. I put a bit of pressure on with the drill, so that's exactly dead center where the drill was supposed to go. But as soon as I started drilling, it went somewhere else. It's terrible. That drill bit was so big you can't really tell how off center it is, so let me do it with a smaller drill bit to show you. Actually going to have to lower this, so there we go, that looks nice. Down the drill goes, rotate it slightly, and it's made a little mark there. So let's score. This one's not actually that bad. I used my pointed tip metal bit on this one, so it's very, very close, but it's still off. So, the $1 million question, should you buy one? If you're trying to do really precise metal work, or even really precise woodwork, no. But if you're a beginner woodworker like me, or you're short on cash like I was, and you've already got this type of drill, then yeah, it's 15 quid. Why wouldn't you buy it? Like, you can pick it up and just move it around your workshop wherever you want it to go. But obviously be aware it has its limitations. It's not as precise as you'd want it to be, so yeah, just work around that. And that's the end of my very first review video. Thanks very much for watching. I will stick a link in the description to this thing, and to the regular viewers, give me some feedback on this video, because I'm probably going to have to stick some more review videos in to keep my weekly content consistent, but I do want to make it more entertaining. So yeah, always like replying to your comments and feedback and stuff like that. If anyone else has any tips, questions or suggestions, stick them in the comments below. There will be a proper build video next week, so thanks very much for watching. Already said that. If you could subscribe, that would be awesome, and see you next week.